Young and the Restless. Adam and Chelsea cheating baby bombshell ahead. Hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is having a nice day. Before we begin the video, please subscribe and give the video a thumbs up. In a stunning development on Young and the Restless, Adam Newman, Mark Grossman, and Chelsea Lawson, Melissa Claire Egan, find themselves entangled in a passionate affair behind the scenes. This may lead to a possible pregnancy bombshell. The duo's unexpected tryst sparks off during a trip to Baltimore, and a surprising spin from their previous bickering over their son, Connor Newman's, Judah Mackey, treatment. So the fallout from this secret promises to shake up the dynamics back home in Genoa City. Simultaneously, Billy Abbott, Jason Thompson, and Sally Spectra, Courtney Hope, oblivious to the betrayal, are caught in a whirlwind of their own, contemplating a surprise visit to their partners on the CBS Opera. Meanwhile, on Young and the Restless, the looming question remains: is Chelsea's rendezvous with Adam a result of temporary stress and alcohol, or the beginning of a clandestine affair? The potential for a "Who's the Daddy" storyline looms large. So if Chelsea indeed ends up pregnant, this adds another layer to the ongoing drama. As the tension heightens, Adam and Chelsea vow to keep their liaison a secret on Young and the Restless. But the truth has a way of unveiling itself, especially in the world of. With the possibility of more secret encounters and a potential pregnancy, this saga is bound to erupt into a full-blown crisis, testing the limits of love, trust, and loyalty. Get all your daily Young and the Restless spoilers and news here at, and stay tuned for updates on your favorite characters' fates. Adam Newman and Chelsea Lawson have always shared a turbulent history. Their relationship began with passion, driven by a deep connection, but complicated by their own emotional scars and the baggage from their pasts. Adam, a man often seen as ruthless and unpredictable, never fully trusted his own heart. Chelsea, once a gold digger with a sharp, cunning streak, softened through love, but still held onto the residue of her past mistakes. The two had been through so much together: betrayals, heartbreaks, and countless moments of uncertainty. However, as they returned to Genoa City after a brief hiatus from the chaos surrounding them, their bond seemed to be growing stronger. They had rebuilt trust and seemed on the verge of something deeper. Adam had shown a more vulnerable side of himself, opening up to Chelsea in ways he hadn't with anyone else. But as we all know, in the world of the Young and the Restless, the calm before the storm is never a lasting peace. Adam and Chelsea's relationship had been put to the test once again with their return to Newman Enterprises. Both were now dealing with complicated business challenges. Chelsea had taken on a major role at the fashion division of the company, while Adam was making power moves within the business empire. The pressure mounted on both of them as they struggled to balance their careers with their personal lives. But when it comes to love and ambition, sometimes the line between the two becomes dangerously thin. Their lives were about to be flipped upside down in a way neither of them saw coming. The first ripple of this impending upheaval started when Chelsea, exhausted from the constant demands of her work and her relationship, turned to someone she least expected for comfort. While Adam was preoccupied with corporate maneuverings at Newman Enterprises, Chelsea found herself working late nights, her frustration growing. Feeling increasingly disconnected from Adam, she sought solace in the one person who seemed to understand her struggles: Nick Newman. Nick and Chelsea had always shared a complicated friendship. From their past flirtations to their understanding of one another, it wasn't hard for them to find common ground again. But what started as innocent talks over coffee or wine after long workdays slowly evolved into something more. It began with the old chemistry that never really vanished. Their connection grew more intense, more palpable, until they shared a night of passion that neither could easily forget. The aftermath was devastatingly unclear for both of them. Chelsea felt torn between her loyalty to Adam and the undeniable pull she felt toward Nick. For the first time, she questioned whether her relationship with Adam was everything she had hoped for, or if it was simply the comfort of familiarity. She didn't want to hurt Adam, but the moment had felt right, maybe more right than the strained nights she spent beside her partner. Nick, on the other hand, felt guilty yet thrilled. He knew that Adam had a deep affection for Chelsea, and the guilt gnawed at him. But he couldn't ignore the connection between him and Chelsea. It had always been there. For Nick, this was a complicated moment. It was a moment of reckoning. Chelsea was confused. What did it all mean? She was now stuck between two men she cared deeply about, but in different ways. The secret they shared felt like an unbearable weight, one that might ruin the very foundation of her life with Adam. Her guilt plagued her. The one person she thought she would never hurt was the person she was betraying. Chapter 3. The Shocking Baby Bombshell. Chelsea and Nick had no idea that the consequences of their actions would ripple out in such a dramatic fashion. As Chelsea sat down in the quiet of her apartment one morning, she found herself feeling unwell. Her nausea and exhaustion were nothing like the usual stresses of work. She had been ignoring the signs, brushing them off as mere stress or exhaustion from the past few weeks. But this time, something was different. Taking a pregnancy test on a whim, Chelsea was struck by the results. The realization hit her like a ton of bricks. She was pregnant. But with whom? Panic surged through her body. She stared at the test, barely able to breathe as 1,000 thoughts raced through her mind. Could this child be Adam's? They had been trying to conceive, but had their efforts been successful? Or was it Nick's? Her mind replayed that fateful night in agonizing detail, trying to piece together the moments she had shared with him. The timing was terrifying. Chelsea knew she couldn't avoid the truth forever. She would have to confront the fact that she had cheated on Adam with his brother, and now she was carrying a baby that could belong to either one of them. The weight of it all was crushing. After days of wrestling with her conscience, Chelsea knew she had to confide in someone. She could not carry this secret any longer. The most obvious person to turn to was her best friend, Sharon Newman. Sharon had always been a voice of reason and understanding in Chelsea's chaotic world. If anyone could help her navigate the storm ahead, it would be Sharon. Chapter 4. Confrontation and Consequences. Sharon was surprised to see Chelsea show up at her doorstep unannounced, looking shaken and on the verge of tears. The moment she opened the door, Sharon could see the distress in her friend's eyes. "Chelsea, what's going on?" she asked, ushering her inside. Chelsea took a deep breath, her hands trembling. She didn't know where to begin. The words stuck in her throat. She had never been good at opening up about her vulnerabilities, especially about something as private as this, but she knew Sharon would understand. I'm pregnant," Chelsea whispered, her voice thick with emotion. Sharon's eyes widened, but she remained silent, waiting for Chelsea to continue. "But I don't know if it's Adam's or Nick's," Chelsea continued, her voice breaking. "I slept with Nick, after everything with Adam. I don't know how it happened, Sharon, but now I'm carrying a baby, and I have no idea who the father is." The silence between them was heavy, filled with the weight of Chelsea's confession. Sharon reached out, placing a comforting hand on her friend's arm. "You didn't want this to happen," Sharon said softly. "But now you have to decide what to do next." Chelsea shook her head. "I don't know how to tell Adam. I can't hurt him like this. He's already been through so much, and this could destroy everything. I don't know what I'm going to do." Sharon looked at her with sympathy. "You'll have to tell him eventually, but you don't have to do it alone. You have to decide what's best for you and for the baby." Chelsea knew Sharon was right. She couldn't hide from the truth forever. She would have to face Adam and come clean, but the fear of losing him, and the guilt of betraying him, was paralyzing. Chapter 5. The truth comes out. The moment of truth came sooner than Chelsea expected. Adam had noticed her distant behavior for days, but he couldn't put his finger on it. He was too preoccupied with business, and Chelsea had withdrawn emotionally. Finally, unable to take it anymore, Adam confronted Chelsea in the Newman Enterprises offices. "Chelsea, what's going on with you?" Adam asked, his voice laced with concern. "You've been avoiding me. We need to talk." Chelsea felt the tears welling up in her eyes. She had no choice but to face him now. She swallowed hard, struggling to find the right words. "Adam, I have something to tell you. It's about the baby." Adam's eyes widened, concern etched on his face. "What do you mean? Are you pregnant?" Chelsea nodded, her hands trembling. "Yes, but there's something you need to know. I slept with Nick." The words hung in the air between them like a heavy, suffocating cloud. Adam's face turned pale. He stepped back, shock and disbelief clouding his features. You slept with Nick." His voice cracked. "After everything we've been through, Chelsea, how could you do this to me?" "I didn't mean for it to happen, Adam, but it did, and now I'm pregnant, and I don't know what to do. I'm so sorry." Adam stood frozen, his eyes searching hers for answers that didn't come. The room felt like it was closing in on him. The betrayal was one thing, but the uncertainty about the baby, it was too much to process. His heart raced as the gravity of the situation began to sink in. "Adam, I never wanted to hurt you," Chelsea whispered, her voice barely audible. Adam turned away, running a hand through his hair, the pain of the moment cutting through him like a knife. "I need time to think, Chelsea. I can't just process this right now." Chelsea's heart broke as she watched him walk away. She had never felt more alone in her life. The future she had imagined with Adam felt like a distant dream, slipping further away with each passing second. Chapter 6. The Aftermath. The fallout from Chelsea's revelation ripples through the Newman and Abbott families, leaving behind shattered relationships and unanswered questions. Adam's pain is palpable as he grapples with betrayal and the uncertainty surrounding the baby. Will Chelsea and Adam be able to rebuild their relationship, or will this betrayal prove to be the breaking point? And how will Nick deal with the aftermath of his own actions? As the drama unfolds, the consequences of one night of passion may change the course of their lives forever. The weight of Chelsea's revelation lingers, not just between her and Adam, but throughout the entire Newman family. The power dynamics at play are in flux. Adam, who has spent so much of his life trying to forge connections, rebuild trust, and prove he could be a loving partner, is now confronted with the very thing he feared the most: betrayal from someone he loved. Chelsea's actions cut deeper than the mere act of infidelity. It was the one thing Adam couldn't fathom, his family turning against him in the most intimate of ways. As Adam retreats into his emotions, he keeps his distance from Chelsea, but his inner turmoil is becoming more visible. Every interaction between them feels awkward, strained, like a thread on the verge of snapping. Adam, always the strategist, refuses to confront his emotions head-on. Instead, he channels his energy into his work. Newman Enterprises becomes his fortress, his safe space from the devastation of his personal life. Meanwhile, Chelsea feels the full force of her guilt. She had hoped, perhaps naively, that her confession would lead to understanding or healing. But instead, she is met with Adam's cold silence. Each day that passes feels like an eternity, and her own frustration builds. She can't help but think about Nick, her one act of desperation, now threatening not only her marriage, but the stability of her entire life. If only she hadn't been so vulnerable, so lost in her grief and disillusionment. But it's too late for regrets now. Chelsea can't find solace in anyone. Her relationship with Sharon feels distant. After all, Sharon is dealing with her own personal issues with Nick. Yet Sharon's advice still echoes in Chelsea's mind. She can't avoid the truth, and sooner or later, it will come out. But as Chelsea contemplates how she can repair things with Adam, she's forced to deal with a sudden realization. Her pregnancy, the one thread that could tie everything together, could also tear everything apart. Chapter 8. The Baby. A life-altering decision. As Chelsea lies awake at night, the truth gnaws at her relentlessly. The baby growing inside her, her first true bond with someone, or maybe a result of her most reckless moment, is a constant reminder of the mess she's in. What will she do if the baby turns out to be Nick's? How will Adam react? Could she even face Nick and tell him about the life they've created? But the other question, the one she can't seem to answer, lies in what Adam would think of her having the baby. Adam had always wanted children. He'd been deeply affected by his previous struggles with parenthood. They had even discussed starting a family together. What would it mean for him if she carried on with the pregnancy? Would he resent her? Would this child, whoever its father might be a symbol of their failed relationship? Or could it represent hope, a chance to rebuild? One evening, unable to take the uncertainty any longer, Chelsea calls Adam. Her heart is heavy, her thoughts scattered. She needs to talk to him, not about the past, but about the future. The future of the baby, and perhaps the future of their relationship. Adam, ever the skeptic, answers the phone with a tense voice. "Chelsea, are you sure this is what you want? I've had enough of secrets. I don't want to go in circles anymore." "I'm not asking for forgiveness, Adam," Chelsea says, her voice shaking. "I just need to tell you that I'm pregnant. This isn't something we can ignore." Meeting at Newman Towers, Summer sits across from her grandfather, knowing this might be the most important conversation of her life. "Victor, I know that Abbott Enterprises and Newman Enterprises are separate entities, but there's no denying that the two companies are intertwined. I'm in a position where I need to make a choice about my future, about what kind of legacy I want to leave, and I can't do that without making the right connections." Victor, ever the strategic mastermind, leans back in his chair. He's no stranger to business battles, and he can see the potential in Summer. "You've got a fire in you, Summer. I can respect that. And I see what you're doing with Abbott Enterprises. You're positioning yourself to be a leader, not just a figurehead. That's not easy to do, especially with the challenges you're facing." Summer looks him in the eye. "I'm not asking for charity, Victor. I want your support, but only if you believe I'm capable of leading Abbott Enterprises into the future. I need to show everyone that I can do this on my own. No more playing second fiddle to anyone." Victor's smile is faint but approving. "You've got the right attitude. I think we can work something out. Let's see how far you're willing to go to prove you're the real deal." For Summer, Victor's endorsement is a game changer. With his backing, she now has the resources and influence to challenge Kyle directly. The battle for Abbott Enterprises has officially reached a new level. Chapter 13, Kyle's Pushback. A family at war. Kyle Abbott, unaware of the full extent of Summer's behind-the-scenes maneuvers, continues to push forward with his plan to take control of Abbott Enterprises. His desperation grows as he realizes that Summer is not backing down. In fact, her newfound confidence and strategic alliances make her more dangerous than ever before. Kyle's frustration boils over when he confronts Summer in a heated argument at the Abbott mansion. "You think you can just waltz in and take everything I've worked for?" he demands, his voice sharp with anger. "I'm the one who deserves this company, not you." Summer, now fully in control of her emotions, stands her ground. "Kyle, you're blinded by your ego. You're so focused on taking over that you've forgotten what's truly important: our family, the legacy, and the future. You're making all the wrong moves, and I won't let you drag me down with you." The confrontation ends with no resolution, but the tension between Summer and Kyle reaches new heights. Summer knows that Kyle won't back down, but neither will she. The war between them is far from over, and each day brings new challenges, new alliances, and new betrayals. Chapter 14, The Final Gambit. Summer's Bold Move. As the week draws to a close, Summer makes her boldest move yet. With Ashley and Victor's support, she takes her place at the head of Abbott Enterprises in a highly publicized meeting. She announces a new initiative, one that challenges Kyle's leadership and positions her as the true heir to the Abbott legacy. The announcement shocks the family and the business world. Summer is no longer just Kyle's wife. She's a force to be reckoned with, a leader in her own right. She declares, "Abbott Enterprises is moving forward, and I intend to lead it into a new era of success." This company deserves a leader who sees its future, not someone who's clinging to the past. Kyle's reaction is immediate and visceral. He feels betrayed by his wife, his family, and his own ambitions. "You've gone too far this time, Summer," he says, his voice tight with rage. "This isn't over. I'll make sure of that." But Summer, standing tall, is unwavering. "It is over, Kyle. You can fight me all you want, but I'm done being your shadow." Chapter 15. A family at a crossroads. As the week concludes, Summer is left standing at the center of a family torn apart by power, ambition, and betrayal. The war for Abbott Enterprises is no longer just a business dispute. It's a battle that will determine the future of the Abbott family. Summer has made her move, and there's no going back. Will her new alliances hold? Can she overcome Kyle's relentless drive to control the company? Or will she ultimately lose everything she's fought for? The next chapter of Summer's journey is just beginning, and the future of Abbott Enterprises, and her place within it, remains uncertain. One thing is clear: Summer is ready for whatever comes next, and she will fight to the very end. End of early edition spoilers, Summer's bold move, and the road ahead. Looking ahead. As the battle for Abbott Enterprises continues to escalate, Summer's journey is far from over. With Kyle growing more desperate and family loyalties shifting, Summer must navigate the treacherous waters of business and family to secure her future. What alliances will she form next? And who will ultimately come out on top in this high forgiveness? Adam, Chelsea says, her voice shaking. "I just need to tell you that I'm pregnant. This isn't something we can ignore anymore." There's a long pause on the other end. Adam's thoughts race. "Pregnant? I don't understand, Chelsea. What does that even mean for us?" The question hangs there, suspended between them. Chelsea knows she's crossing a line, and she can feel the foundation of their relationship shifting beneath her. She chooses her words carefully, knowing that whatever comes next could change everything. "I don't know, Adam. I really don't. I just wanted you to know. I owe you the truth." The tension between them is almost unbearable, a silent understanding that they are at a crossroads neither of them can avoid. "I'm not ready for this," Adam finally admits. "I don't know what to say, Chelsea. I need time to think." But time is running out. Chapter 9. The Hidden Truth, Nick's Involvement. Chelsea's conversation with Adam leaves her conflicted and uneasy. However, things take an unexpected turn when Nick reaches out to her. He knows something isn't right, and though he's been struggling with his own guilt, he feels compelled to check on Chelsea. After all, this isn't just about the baby. It's about the damage to their family, their relationships, and what comes next. When they meet at Crimson Lights, there's an undeniable tension between them. Nick can't help but feel the weight of his actions every time he looks at Chelsea. She's carrying a child that could change everything. He's trapped between the guilt of their affair and the reality that they can't undo the past. Chelsea can barely meet his eyes as she sits across from him, the silence heavy. Finally, she speaks up, voice low. "Nick, I don't know what to do. Adam has a right to know the truth, but I'm terrified of what it will do to him. To us, I don't know how to face him." Nick's heart aches as he watches Chelsea struggle. "Chelsea, this isn't easy for either of us, but the truth will come out, whether we want it to or not. We can't hide it forever. Adam deserves to know." Chelsea closes her eyes, overwhelmed by the enormity of the situation. "And what about us? What about the baby? Will Adam ever forgive me? Will he even accept this child?" Nick's expression falters. "I don't know, but I don't want to make this harder for you, Chelsea. I'm here. I'll support whatever decision you make, but it's time for Adam to know." Chelsea is filled with dread at the thought of exposing the truth, yet she knows Nick is right. The longer she hides, the more complicated things will become. As the weight of her choices threatens to crush her, she realizes that it's time to confront the past, no matter how much it hurts. Chapter 10. The Showdown. Adam's Choice. The day of reckoning arrives sooner than expected. Adam confronts Chelsea once again. He has spent the night brooding over his thoughts, and now he wants answers. His emotions are a whirlwind: hurt, anger, confusion, and a desperate need for closure. "Chelsea, I need to know, is it my child?" Adam asks bluntly, his voice tight with the tension of the moment. "I can't go on like this without answers." Chelsea's breath catches in her throat. She had been preparing herself for this moment, but nothing could have prepared her for the coldness in Adam's eyes. "I don't know, Adam," she admits softly, her voice trembling. "It could be yours, or it could be Nick's, but I didn't want it to happen this way. I never meant to hurt you." Adam's eyes narrow, a storm brewing behind them. "You slept with my brother, Chelsea, behind my back, and now you're pregnant. How am I supposed to trust you again?" The betrayal in Adam's voice cuts through her, but Chelsea holds her ground. "I never wanted any of this to happen. I wish I could go back and undo it all, but I can't. What I do know is that I need you to be honest with me, and I need to be honest with you." Tears well in Chelsea's eyes as she continues, "I never meant for it to come to this, but I'm carrying a child, and I want to raise it. I don't know what the future holds, but I don't want to face it alone." Adam's face softens, though there's still a hardness in his expression. "I can't just forget this, Chelsea. You broke my trust. But you're right, this child, the baby, it's part of me now, and I'm not sure where we go from here." As the tension between them thickens, Chelsea braces herself for the fallout, unsure whether their relationship can survive this bombshell. Adam is torn between his heart, his pride, and the future that's now in jeopardy. Could they find a way back to each other, or was this the final fracture in their already fragile relationship? Chapter 11. A Family Torn Apart. The aftermath of Chelsea's confession is devastating. Adam spends the next several days withdrawn from everyone, trying to make sense of how he can rebuild his life. For Chelsea, the heartbreak is just beginning. The future of her relationship with Adam hangs in the balance. The love they had shared is strained, but the uncertainty surrounding the baby adds a level of complexity neither of them expected. With Nick silently watching from the sidelines, Chelsea is left to face the consequences of her actions. Adam, struggling with his feelings for both her and his brother, begins to reevaluate his life choices. The consequences of the affair, the pregnancy, and the shattered trust weigh heavily on him. And as the story continues to unfold, the Newman family finds itself divided more than ever before. Adam, Chelsea, and Nick will have to confront their darkest fears, their deepest regrets, and ultimately the question of whether they can move forward after the chaos they've caused. Will love and family triumph, or will betrayal and loss be the defining moments of this chapter in their lives? Only time will tell. The days after Chelsea's confession weigh heavily on Adam, and he is visibly changed. The man who once carried himself with quiet confidence now feels the strain of betrayal in every breath he takes. His mind races with questions, doubts, and insecurities. Questions about his future, about Chelsea, about his family, and about his very identity. What will this bombshell mean for him moving forward, and can he even trust Chelsea anymore? Chelsea, too, is struggling in silence. She is haunted by her decisions, not just because of the affair with Nick, but because of the rift she has caused with Adam. Her guilt consumes her every waking moment. She hasn't been able to sleep properly, and her appetite has diminished. The weight of the uncertainty, the baby, and her fractured relationship with Adam are pushing her to the brink. Despite the intense emotions, the two of them continue to go through the motions of their lives, neither one truly facing the reality of what has happened. They are both clinging to the hope that things can be fixed, but deep down, they know that the road ahead is anything but easy. As the days drag on, Chelsea grows more anxious about the baby. The question that hangs over everything is whether the child is Adam's or Nick's. For Chelsea, the idea of taking a DNA test feels like a cruel necessity. The uncertainty is suffocating, and she can't continue living in limbo. One day, she makes the difficult decision to get the test done. The results will undoubtedly change everything, but Chelsea needs answers. As she sits in the waiting room at the clinic, she can feel the tension building inside her. Her heart pounds in her chest as she waits for the results to come in, each second stretching longer than the last. When she finally receives the envelope containing the results, she almost can't bring herself to open it. But she knows she has no choice. The truth is out there, and it will eventually come to light, whether she wants it to or not. With trembling hands, she opens the envelope and reads the results. The baby is Adam's. Chelsea's heart leaps into her throat. A strange mixture of relief and anxiety floods her body. At least she now knows the truth. At least the path forward is clearer, though no less painful. The fact that the child is Adam's, however, doesn't erase the past, nor does it make everything easier. She has so much to apologize for, and she wonders whether Adam will ever be able to forgive her. The truth about the baby being his should bring Adam some sense of relief, but it doesn't. Instead, he's left with an overwhelming sense of confusion. Part of him wants to believe that this child could be the key to healing his fractured relationship with Chelsea, but another part of him feels betrayed beyond repair. The affair with Nick, the secrecy, the lies, all of it is still fresh in his mind. It's not just about the baby anymore. It's about trust, about loyalty, and about whether he can truly open himself up to Chelsea again after everything that's happened. Adam has always been cautious with his heart. It took him years to trust Chelsea in the first place, and now that trust has been shattered. Despite all of this, he still has feelings for her. He can't deny that. The baby, too, stirs something deep within him. He had always dreamed of being a father, and the idea of raising a child with Chelsea is something he's reluctant to give up on. Yet he knows that he can't ignore the depth of his hurt and his anger. At the same time, he also knows that he can't avoid Chelsea forever. He can't keep shutting her out of his life. He needs to make a decision, and soon, about whether he can move forward with her or if their relationship is beyond repair. As Adam wrestles with his emotions, it becomes clear that the unresolved tension between him and Nick cannot be ignored any longer. Adam needs answers. He needs to know the truth from Nick's side. Did Nick have any idea of the depth of the relationship between Adam and Chelsea? And more importantly, what are his intentions now? Adam arranges a confrontation with Nick at the Abbott mansion. When Nick answers the door, Adam can immediately sense the discomfort in his brother. Nick hasn't been able to look Adam in the eye for days, and it's clear that the guilt is eating him alive. But Adam's patience is running thin. "Nick," Adam says coldly, "we need to talk. Now." Nick sighs, knowing that this moment was inevitable. "I don't know what you want me to say, Adam. I never intended for any of this to happen. But it did, and I regret it." Adam's eyes narrow, but his voice is steady. "You regret it? Really? Because from where I'm standing, it looks like you've been doing everything you can to keep this whole thing a secret." "I want the truth, Nick. What are your intentions with Chelsea?" Nick rubs his temples, his frustration evident. "Adam, this is not easy. I never meant for things to get so complicated. I didn't plan any of this. I made a mistake. But it doesn't change the fact that we have a baby on the way, and we need to figure out how to deal with it." The tension between the brothers is palpable. Adam, trying to keep his emotions in check, takes a deep breath. "You knew how much I wanted a family, Nick. How could you do this to me? We've been through so much together, and now I have to question everything about my life, my relationship with Chelsea, and my future." Nick lowers his gaze. I know, and I'm sorry. I can't change what happened. But we have to deal with the fallout, all of us. You and Chelsea, me, this baby. It's all going to affect us in ways we can't even begin to understand yet. Adam clenches his fists. I don't know what the future holds, Nick, but you've made things worse for everyone, including yourself. I'm done with the lies. Chapter 16. The rift grows deeper. The conversation with Nick leaves Adam even more conflicted. The bitterness between the brothers simmers, and the divide that has been forming over the past few weeks grows wider. Nick is no longer the person Adam once relied on. He's someone who has betrayed him, not just as a brother, but as a friend, as someone he trusted. Chelsea, too, feels the growing distance. Despite knowing that Adam is struggling with his feelings, the silence between them only deepens the rift. She can see the hurt in his eyes, and she can't help but feel responsible for the disintegration of their relationship. She wants to fix things, to make it right, but she doesn't know how. When Chelsea reaches out to Adam to talk, he's distant. The emotional wall he's built between them seems insurmountable. He can't bring himself to trust her the way he once did. Chelsea knows that she's losing him, but she doesn't know how to stop it. As the days pass, Adam retreats further into his shell, and Chelsea becomes more desperate. She can feel the foundation of their relationship slipping away, and it terrifies her. For so long, she believed that they were destined to be together, that they had weathered the worst of their storms. But now she isn't so sure. In an attempt to salvage something, anything, Chelsea makes the painful decision to leave town for a while. She knows that she needs space to think, to reflect on her own mistakes, and to figure out where her future lies. But when she says goodbye to Adam, she realizes something crucial. She might have already lost him for good. Chapter 17. The Road Ahead. As Chelsea leaves Genoa City, the city that has been her home for so long, she's filled with uncertainty. She has no idea what her future holds, but she knows she has to find herself again. She cannot continue living in this painful limbo between guilt, fear, and regret. For Adam, the days following Chelsea's departure are filled with soul-searching. He realizes that despite everything, he still loves her. But the betrayal is deep, and his ability to forgive seems impossible. He must decide whether he can find a way to heal and rebuild, or whether this is the end of a chapter in his life he never thought would close. As the fallout from Chelsea's affair with Nick continues to rock their world, the Newmans are left to pick up the pieces. The road ahead is uncertain, but one thing is clear: nothing will ever be the same again.